sheep. They're sitting under the pines there a little bit. I don't know why they need shade for it. It's blasted overcast anyway. Yeah, there's a few of the ones we towed out. And there's a few down here we tried to tow out. And you'd pull and then they'd just snap off wherever you had the chain wrapped around them. They wouldn't break out of the ground very well at all. That's right, Bar Lamb. So I'm down here with weapon of choice, and took a bit of trying to get some of these out, and they didn't quite get out. Down here with a weapon of choice, and we're going to go and try and cut off the ones that haven't been broken off or cut off. As you can see, it made a bit of a gnarly mess, but we just could not get them out. So I'll just cut the rest out there. And then all the leaves will die, and then I'll be able to burn the bulk of it. What I've been noticing with a lot of these is the bulk of what's underneath is just dry and dead anyway. And it's only the outer parts on the top that are actually green. But anyway, if I cut those off, it's all going to be dead, and I hope it's going to dry out. No guarantee that it will, but with enough of this dead stuff underneath, it may sort of be dry enough to burn it out. And yeah, let's show you something else. All lambs under here. These are sort of about a year old, most of those ones there. The ones on the left there. What I've been doing, a lot of these trees here, all these little gangly bits, as you can see. Well, there was a lot of these little box thorns, like ones like this, it's only like, you know, 1.5 feet tall. And there's a couple there you might be able to see. They basically resprouted from the roots. Now these have been pulled out previously, but there's enough roots in the ground that it actually started up again. Whoa, there goes a blackbird. And so instead of sitting here snipping them all out, I've actually poisoned most of them. But instead of sitting there snipping them all out individually and then trying to throw them in a heap, I found it easier to deliberately pull box thorns over the top of these smaller ones that have resprouted from roots from when we previously towed out. This entire area here was full of box thorns, and when we previously towed those out. So yeah, so anyway, we've got some of the ones that come out there that did actually come out, and put them over the top of the resprouted ones, because 20% of the ones you pull out will resprout from the roots, as this is doing here. So what I've done was I got all these crappy little bits, and I went on a trimming spree and trimmed all of the bottom of all these out to get all the gangly little bits to increase the burnable fuel, which I then threw on top of these resprouts. Yeah, that's a bit of a long, dragged out explanation, but that's what I spent all of yesterday doing. And there's other little bushes over here. These are natives, but for whatever reason, part of them dies off and then the other part has kept going. So I got stuck in with a log splitter just to bust them off at ground level, the bits that were dead. Same thing again, I've still got to trim a couple of these, but there's a lot of smaller ones underneath, and I've just thrown all these on top. But these are sort of mingled in amongst the green stuff here. It was like there's just dead ones with it, or, you know, like two together, and an older one had died, and the younger one here is still alive. But anyway, that'll give all that a bit of burnability. That other one there had a whole stack of dead stuff as well, and chuck that all on to lower the amount that I've got to snip out by hand. What's here? This is a peppercorn tree. Not that you'd know, because, you know, the sheep make a good mess of it, but They could be shading under this thing, but like another little almond tree I've got, they decided it's better to just strip it bare. So I'll be fencing this at some time, at some point. Who knows when? I've got that much stuff to do. There's another bunch here. Going to try and fence around these as well, so they get kept. There's 4 of them there. So they always got a thing where they'll strip out all the bottoms, and then they sort of get to a height where they give up and they don't try and jump up. Sometimes you do see them jump up like goats do, and I see goats doing that, but sheep, not very often do they actually get on their hind legs and try and place their feet on the trunk to try and get the upper leaves. But all the same, like, it's no good for the tree. So in order for these trees to have a chance, this one and that one up there, I shall fence them in at some point. Meanwhile, keep getting old sticks and throwing them all in around these little resprouted box thorns. These are some of the original trunks and whatnot that have just sort of snapped off, just slightly above the ground, but those have actually been sprayed and they're only dead because I've sprayed them. But I want to try and burn all that rubbish out as well, but I can't get too big with this one because it's a bit close to that. Those trees there, but some of the other ones I'm having a go at. You probably see the little one there. I think I'm, just past the rocks there. There's that one there. You see the black stuff. It's a bit of rubbishy old blooming chipboard, and got to build that up a little bit more. And it just goes on and on and on. Alrighty. Well, I found a way to record without the wind annoying things. I put my finger over the microphone and talk close to the microphone, and you can still hear me. Now, as you can see, I've got a few box thorns here. I've got a lot of wood. I don't think you guys have ever been shown all this either. There's multiple stacks here. Now, some of this got used, particularly stuff on this stack here. Now, I didn't use some of... This is all good when I built the house. Now it's all rotten, and these bits were warped, and I got the least warped stuff and used a lot of that to make the house. And there's some other good stuff still over there. Bits that have gone rotten. There was large stuff that was like 8 by 8 inches, and I actually cut that up for firewood, and I've still got that all cut up into foot-long length. But anyways, never mind all my wood stacks. We're pulling out these box thorns here. Turned into a bit of a circus because we had, right in this spot here, we had a stack of wood. And as you'd pull out said box thorns, well, we sort of dragged the stack out and out and out and out and flattened the entire stack. And some of the stuff is still actually under those box thorns because it got dragged out with them. Oh, man. But anyway, some of the better stuff, I've been sorting through a lot of the stuff in this stack, and as you can see, it's all just pretty much crap. Some of it was only 1/4 inch when it was milled, and then it sort of rotted, split, warped, and turned to crap. So I have kept the better, larger stuff here, and quite a bit of it I'm still sorting through. But quite a bit of it I've actually taken down where all the box thorns have resprouted and chucked it on top of them to be able to burn them out at ground level. So I don't have to snip out a whole stack of them. I just throw all these down and burn them out at ground level, as I explained previously. And there's also a whole bunch of sticks from, particularly that big eucalyptus on the end there, or gum tree, whatever it is, and a few from the pines near my house, and I got all those as well. Took them down there and done the exact same thing. I want to continue clearing this out. In actual fact, there's not that much left really, and once I've cleared it all out, along with all the half-stuffed laminated chipboard and rubbish, then we'll have another go at getting into this. What I've noticed about this is a lot of this is dry rubbish and would burn quite easily, but then again, you don't really want to do that when it's got wood right beside it on both sides, and I might, take the whole show out. In the process of trying to get this, I'll finish off an entire stack of floorboards, and my father was adamant about keeping all this, but he actually come in and you see a bit of a frame here, and as he was trying to hook chains up, he was standing on this thing, and it blooming, because it's so blasted rotten, it collapsed underneath him, and then I think he started to realise that a lot of this timber wasn't as good as he thought it was, and I told him that I'd been throwing some out into the burn heap, some of the thinner planks, that a lot of it's been fence palings and stuff like that, actually, and he didn't seem to mind that I'd been throwing out the little scrappy stuff, but yeah, anyway, I've pretty much got all these stuff except one little bit that's coming up. I've covered all the stuff that I've got to cover, all these re-sprouted box thorns. There's a few I've got to snip out, and there's, most of the big close together areas are covered, aside from one which I'll just take down a bit of this rotten stuff, most likely some of those planks as well, and just chuck that on top. But I thought I'd completely finished until I saw just a little bit down there, but anyway, there we go. Seems I'm not the only one that's got Madeira on. Here is the unit. Look at that mill scale. That's the carbon that forms on steel when it cools, when it's milled in the factory, and it's still on it, even though it was built in the 1960s. Sheer copper tank, water jacket. Also a pipeline. There's your outer lines. Your drain tap that snapped. I think that's your in and that's your out. Low pressure system. You can't have any pressurised water, otherwise it'll blow to bits. Oven. 5-box ashtray. And this for storing pots and pans goes under here. There's the bits for the oven. There's the hot plates upside down. It's one that you stick on the top of the hot plate so you don't burn yourself with a hot plate. It's like a little cover. There's a second cover we've got to get. Yeah. I am flabbergasted at how good a quality it's actually in. I think that's your damper actually, Dan. Little knob. Anyway, should help someone back in, I think. How is that for a block full of creosote? She's just solid. That's your inner, and there's your outer, about 10 foot tall. There's even the box that the outer sort of, well, this goes through the ceiling space, and then this is your lead piece that goes through at the roof level. What's the matter, kitty cat? I recently worked out that there is actually a refrigeration compressor. No joke. Imagine having something like that. I think it's to run like a whole cool room. Seized up, but the other one down there isn't seized. I was sure it was an air compressor head. If I get closer and then notice, I'll go running in. Whoa, what Watch out, I'm coming, kitty cats. Isn't that right, grey kitty? There's your mouse catcher, your little black one there. I can tell because he's got a little thing on his, bit of black on his white nose there. You probably can't see. Go on, kitties. Don't get worried. Hey. Grey kitty. That one at the back there, I've picked it up. Friendly tabby is there at the front. This one at the back, I picked it up the other day. Bloody hell, what a performance. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's a keeper or not. I'm likely to keep tabby cat and black kitty there. Not grey kitty, she's a grump. It's hard to see here, but we've got a gap about that big. Only literally a 2-inch gap that's come out as we've driven along through all this. Alrighty. There's a little gap here that my uncle cut out for the sheep. That goes through to like where the kittens are there, but it's sort of grown over a bit. I think a few sheep have been barging their way through it anyway. And a lot of calamity out here with them walking over the scrap metal in the early morning. But there's been a bunch of chicken wire all in the ground for a long time, and a whole big tangle of, well, an entire small pine tree, and I've got to chuck that out still. There's some of the other ones that cut off of it, including a longer bit there. And I've already thrown out a heap to be able to get it out because I essentially used the tree as a corner post, and then for some reason stuck a second post beside it. And what do you know, there's another mattress with all the springs there. So I've been cleaning this area out today. Helped my father get the stove off. I didn't really show much of the footage there. There's a lot of creosote in the bottom. There's only about 2 or 3 inch gap between the creosote and all that. But it only went up for about 9 inches or something like that. So we cleared it all out because it only seemed to be at the bottom, and then we stacked it away in the shed. And yeah, a lot of crap involved in setting that up. What a glorious day it was picking it up. I'll tell you all about that in a little while. And we continue on. This is another area that I haven't really even touched before. And I sort of don't use, well, I've never really come through this way. Not really when I felt in the mood of pulling stuff out anyway. Yeah, this is sort of like the corner. There's some boxthorns that they're very small, but there's a lot of collapsed pines. This is in the very corner of the house. My bedroom is basically through there somewhere. And there's an old shed that's scraps of it are through there, you can probably see. Some of it comes right out to here. And it looks like it's been a bit of a yard of some sort, or a pen, because there's all chicken wire. And you see the old axle there they've got. They hammered that in the ground, and then through the bolt holes that, obviously your whole studs and all that to hold your wheel, they've got the wire that runs along the top. Or the wire that might have hooked to the chicken wire to hold it upright. And just pluck that big, damn heavy bit out. Continue to shake all this out of the ground and getting all these little bits and pieces and dags and whatnot. Some of the stuff's laying on the ground and it's sort of like half rusted already, so then you get all these little bits that are only a couple of inches in size, whole clusters of them sort of coming up, but I can't help myself. I'm motivated to clean up a lot of this old crap. Never ends. One day the plan is, if I removed all this, and you're probably going, why doesn't he get in and pull all this out with a loader? Good question. If I did, there'd be no house left. The house would blow over during the equinox period, which is the changing of the seasons, the wind gets really hard. The solar's still quite good, but that's the only time of year where we really get some wind. And then once that's over and you're either in the middle of summer or in the middle of blooming winter, the wind is enough just to annoy your microphone in summer, and in winter it's like absolutely still. And but during the equinox you could just about blow the house off, and I hear the roof flexing and everything, even with all this stuff as a wind block. So when I build a new house one day, once I move into the new house, then I'll go like hell and get all this stuff out, and you know, probably as time goes on, gently work through all the dead pine trees and cut all them up into wood, but get rid of the box thorns initially. But that'll be after I build a new house. Well, the ridiculousness continues. You see there, they've gone and put a blooming wire for one of these things around the blooming tree. You get another one around here too that you can see sort of half tangled in. It's actually eating the barb there as well. And continues down there, so leaning up the tree trying to cut a bit of this stuff out. Oh, it just never ends. Might as well show you some of the old school chicken wire netting. You got to see this crap to believe it. So I might as well show it. This is your old school chicken wire netting. They had a different pattern to how they have it today. I think this has been stretched because I've been pulling it, but I mean, you imagine keeping a bunch of chooks in or something with this. They probably kept pigs in with it. Well, you could anyway. The blooming stuff it's like tennis court fencing, except instead of being a whole heap of little zigzags that all go and collapse as soon as you take the tension off, this is like a chicken wire version that's about as heavy duty as blooming tennis court fencing. But this is fascinating stuff. My father got another piece of this and cut it out, but it wasn't quite as heavy as this, so I might I'll give him this bit, and if he wants to cut a bit of this out as a interesting piece to keep, then yeah, so be it. But by hell, I mean, you could just about keep people in with stuff like this. God blimey, it's heavy. Well, the sun's quickly going down. I'm still roaring away like there's no tomorrow in amongst the whole circus worth of crap under here. Oh, I don't know when I'm going to get this flipping trailer for scrap metal, but that is no excuse to slow up at all. I don't worry about weather forecasts or any of that stuff. And what the rest of the world's up to, I just blooming charge on regardless. And wish I had a damn spotlight now because I'm so enthused. There's part of that shed too. Oh, you can't see it, it's up there, but there's a sheet you can see laying there, and then it sort of goes up to another sheet beside it, which you can't see, damn it. Oh, I have been deep inside the jungle of crap. In there, you see a little hole right there. That's actually the entrance to what we refer to as a well, but it isn't really a well at all. It's really just an underground water tank, so to speak, that is essentially like a concrete and stone swimming pool that was your water tank back in the day. And often enough they'd go and have like guttering on their house or whatever, and it'd go down a downpipe, and then it'd pour into like a little 3-brick assembly where they have a brick in the middle and then one sort of either side on about a 25-degree angle, and make like a little, almost like a walkway drain that'd go back into that. I was actually on the opposite side of that, through the boxthorn, through the Madeira vine. There's a whole heap of collapsed pines on the other side, and I've crawled onto the collapsed pines and got to the opposite corner of that, and well, they got a lot of scrap metal there, and this is only a little bit of it, and there's a whole heap of, a lot of glass. I mean, I'm not joking. There's a whole flipping bucket full of glass that I pulled out of the ground in one small area that would only be about 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot in size. And there's still full bottles under there, and a couple of bottles with the top broken off them, but they're really old ones like World War II and stuff like that. So I'm going to pluck a few of those out. But it's even old school rabbit trap, which is all rusted to death here. Basically, your plate used to pivot on a pivot under there, and then it would sit out to this side here, and it would be held down by this tab. There's a little notch that's attached to the flat plate there, and these two bend down, and this piece here is like a spring steel piece, and that's hinged there. Same again at the front, but that's too old, rust into them, the ground style ones. That one's obviously let go of the jaws, and generally that's, well, there's still got a little bit of spring in it, not a great deal, but yeah, a lot of them I do that too, they just go crack. That's got a full plate there on that one, and there's your little piece, little tab that comes out that holds down one side of your jaw. It's pivoted there, and that's like a little niche thing with a little notch that, yeah. But anyway, I'll take you in there and try and show you down this thing, and holy smoke, it's an effort. It's hands and knees all the way sort of thing. It's a bit of a shitstorm, but basically there's the remains of a shed near there too. I could actually get to that shed when I was still cleaning this property out, and the box thorns have since, move out further. The shed's like through there basically. It's hard to get to it, but I've snipped a bit of the front of them out and come around the opposite side of my little plums there, and sort of hands and knees getting in there, and I've demolished the back of it, and I've got to finish cleaning out the area on the opposite side of this, and then demolish the rest of it back towards here and try and drag it all out this way and get it on the trailer. But I've actually got the trailer now, so my father decided to take his ride-on lawnmower in, and he thought it was something where you could take it in when they're ready, and they'd do it in a day, and he just took it in already and just said they don't sort of do it in a day. He might have to wait a week because they've got so much other work backed up at the mower joint. So yeah, now I'm going to be able to do a load of scrap metal and probably reload it again in the weekend and do another load next week, and maybe a third load the next week as well. Now here we are amongst a whole heap of bizarre old antique bottles and stuff. Yeah, some other funny ones. I've had one here. I hope it wasn't. Oh no. Oh, here it is. Well, here's one of them anyway. It's like a triangular thing. There was another one. I thought it was a clear one. Oh yeah, right beside it, dumbass. God blimey. Yeah, I've been flinging a lot of this stuff behind me here, out there, and I can, yeah, there's a tree, that one there you can see with the, had a bizarre fungi on it, which you'll see in another video, which is, you're going to laugh. This fungi, I believe, is a category of smut, which is, smut's a category of fungi, but anyway, you'll see that another time. Yeah, this is a little area I've been cleaning out here. I mean, it's just amazing. The size of this is almost nothing. I'm tearing heaps of stuff out. That's just plain rubbish there now. There's the well thingy. So I can get the phone over. And it's a fair drop down there. And I don't know if you can see the, yeah, there's a side wall for it. Side walls. Pretty hard to see. I probably should get the good camera in here, but just working on all the scrap metal, and I'll probably leave all the antique bottles in here for today and come back and get them another time, because it's, yeah, it's hard enough getting in and out of here as it is without wasting time playing around with non-priorities, which is just getting out bottles over scrap metal, which is a priority. Anyway, I'll charge on.